Yong, the owner and director of a precision molding and CNC factory in Guizhou. He entered the industry in 2015 after serving 5 years in the Chinese army and invested 10 million Chinese yuan into building his own factory. Today he works with clients in new energy, automotive, medical equipment and semiconductors, from small custom batches to large-scale production for companies on the level of BYD. This time, we walk inside real Chinese manufacturing, what a Chinese factory looks like when it succeeds on the domestic market, why China wins through a concentrated and fast supply chain, and why mid-sized factories are the most vulnerable between industrial giants and micro workshops. We also discuss digitalization in Chinese plants, production mistakes, and the real difference between small workshops and a fully equipped manufacturing plant. If you work with China, or plan to, this conversation will give you a rare, unfiltered look at what happens behind the doors of real Chinese production. Thank you very much for the opportunity to visit you today. We were introduced by a mutual friend, Chao Qiang, your army buddy. How did you start in this industry?
I've been doing this for 10 years. I started in 2015. Now it's 2025, exactly 10 years. My uncles have always been in this line of work. After I finished my military service, I came here and worked under them to learn the business. Then, in 2020, I opened my own factory.
How is business today?
Not bad, but the domestic Chinese market today is very competitive. So we are also looking for a way out. Export markets. Actually, many of my friends work for export and in foreign trade. They take orders abroad, then send them to us for manufacturing.
So their value is that they can export the product manufactured by you?
Yes, right.
Many foreigners know Alibaba or these kind of platforms. It is easy to find there an exporter, but not the real manufacturer. A lot of those foreign factories either need molds from China or sometimes they need custom components. Specifically, precision components are an important part of this. So what's the difference between precision and regular parts?
What I call precision components are non-standard parts. Non-standard means the customer only needs a few pieces, maybe a few dozen. Very small quantities, but with specific requirements. So we use our CNC machines, grinders, wire cutting machines, and other equipment to make these parts. When we are talking about regular items, national standard parts, those need molds and stamping for high-volume manufacturing. Their volumes are big. That's the main difference. We make precision parts or molds, whatever the customer needs. If a customer needs a part like this lid, if the quantity is large, I can make a mold and mass produce it. It's convenient and fast. But if the quantity is small, then we don't need a mold. Because moldings are costly, we will produce it directly with CNC and wash it out into shape.
On your experience, who are most of your customers? What do they do?
My customers include new energy companies and automation companies. For example, producing lithium batteries, producing cars, all kinds of fixtures, jigs, non-standard parts. And then medical equipment like blood analyzers. All those instruments have non-standard components inside. Then semiconductors, semiconductor equipment. Because there's no volume there, we don't open molds for them. Everything is done by CNC.
Large companies or small ones?
Both large and medium-small. For example, we have BYD among our clients. Their volumes are huge. We make a lot of their components. I will show you later at the factory site. You'll see some of their parts. Also, door panel jigs in the interior trim of cars. We produce those jigs, inspection tools, automotive tooling, all of that.
All right, let's take a look at the factory.
When we receive an order, we first arrange the process planning, drawing review, then material procurement. When materials arrive, we do programming, and after programming is completed, we start CNC, the first process. Wei, turn off the water for a moment. CNC milling, grinding, machining. Then, depending on the process requirements, if wire cutting or surface grinding is needed, we arrange that for the next step. If there are internal corners that CNC cannot reach, we need to use wire cutting. This one is medium speed wire cutting. Look, CNC cannot reach these inner corners, so we cut them out. And here, this is material cutting. We put material here. Then, after we receive the drawings, the machinery follows the programmed drawings step by step to make the product. The manufacturing goes according to the planned process. Over here is the grinding area. For the workpieces where CNC cannot hit the tolerance or reach the parameters needed, we use the grinding machine for precision grinding. You can look here, this board has just been ground. He needs to take it out. It's processed already. You can see the difference. Here is CNC machining. It leaves a rough surface, and after grinding, the surface becomes smooth. The grinding wheel rotates for grinding the product and moves back and forth to finish the surface. We can grind steel, aluminum, stainless steel. After the grinding finished, if a product needs tapping, next step we tap it here. Sometimes with a hand drill because it is faster, or sometimes he can use the tapping machine. This is the milling machine area. To improve efficiency, when we have side holes, we make them directly here using milling machines. This is the small surface grinder, a manual one. For small parts that need very high precision, 5 microns, we do them here. When all these processes are finished, next step we go to quality control. After QC checks everything and confirms there are no issues, then we send the parts for surface treatment. This part depends on manual experience, but entirely on manual experience. How to mix the rubber, how to adjust it, all manual work. We make a simple mold, pour the rubber, and then vulcanize it in this oven, usually 15 to 18 hours. After we take it out, it can be used for making a product we need. This is aluminum part, and he is doing rubber coating. So after this aluminum part is processed, we add a layer of rubber. When the finished parts come back, we inspect again. This is the CMM, the coordinate measuring machine. In our factory, this is actually a very core inspection device. What it mainly checks is positional accuracy, position tolerance. These pins, these holes, their positional accuracy requirements are very high. It needs a person to input the program and then check step by step. If all the inspection results are okay, then we pack the parts and ship them out.
During these steps of manufacturing, do you sometimes face any issues?
We do. In manufacturing, there can be many kinds of problems. For example, incoming material issues. Sometimes the raw material dimensions are smaller than required. That happens, but not very often. And sometimes also during machining itself, there can be defects. That does happen, yeah.
So you identify problems on this stage?
We identify and try to avoid them already during the production stage because all our technicians has calipers and they measure these parts themselves. They do manual inspection and we bring the parts into the inspection room if needed. This workpiece is made very nicely. Abu, open it. The requirements for this part are also very high. This one is an aluminum part. It has just finished machining.
How much do you value your entire investments in this factory?
Overall investment for this factory, it is about 10 million Chinese yuan.
What is he doing?
This is our intelligent tool cabinet. To take a tool, the worker has to scan their face. They select what tool they need, and it comes out automatically. The purpose is to track how many tools each person uses.
Why do you need to track it?
This is to manage tools better. Factories nowadays need to move toward digitalization. And this is a small qingdan.
小金丹, you already tried it. Inside is pu'er tea, outside is a layer of orange peel, so it is pu'er tea with orange aroma.
Because manufacturing is like this. No matter how the market changes, manufacturing itself cannot be eliminated. It's always fundamental.
Especially for countries with higher production costs, Europe, the USA, and so on. Manufacturing in China is cheap. You can make a custom product easily. It is really hard to do the same over there.
China's supply chain is very complete, very well developed. Here, the supply chain is complete and well coordinated. In other places where it's not coordinated, many things become very difficult. For example, if we want to do heat treatment, here I send it out tonight and I can get it back tomorrow. But if you're in Hunan province, around Changsha, it might take a week, a full week. That's a supply chain issue, supporting infrastructure. If the supply chain is good, efficiency is very high and costs can be pushed very low. For example, Roman is a client, right? He wants to find a supplier. He sends us a request for quotation, but here's a problem. Among those suppliers who he can reach, a vast majority will be micro factories, really small ones, 2, 3, 5 machines, small family workshops. Some don't even have a real factory, and how they compete on price is ridiculous. Whoever offers the lowest price gets the job. But I'll be honest with you, the cost structure of the factory you saw here is not the same as that of a micro workshop. So our prices will be different. That's the truth. So why then clients buy from us? Because we give them assurance, reliability. Small factories can't guarantee the deadlines and quality, and for foreign customers it is really hard to distinguish because they are outside. Many Chinese factories are facing this situation now. Either you are very big, you're so big that no one can replace you, then you're fine, or you are very small and you keep your prices extremely low. Factories of our size, not huge but not small either, are the hardest to run. That's why we need to look for the right client, the client that can understand the value. If a client only compares prices, we cannot do that business. But when the client needs the volume, timing, quality, and guarantee, that matches our capability. Honestly, I personally feel that I have a kind of connection with the Northeast China, with Russia. Many of my clients, so for example those who do medical devices, are from Changchun, which is in the northeast, because I served in the army in Changchun. I think this is my destiny. Military service was in Changchun, and it was about training and endurance. So later when I started my business, my first clients were also from Changchun. They supported me, they helped me a lot when I just started. I am very grateful to those clients.